I'd like to talk about religious books since I've talked about them. I'd like to talk about three categories of books. Um, the the Torah, Nevim, and Khetuvim, which are known as the TaNaKh. I've read also that the word Torah was used more liberally. I've read that it also means the teaching or something like that. And traditionally, the Torah is only 5 books. And so that's why there's these different categories or classifications of books. And then the second category is the Bible, which includes the TaNaKh or similar to it. There's different translations usually in the Christian Bible, but it's interesting to note that the first people who were following Jesus, who were writing a lot of the books in the Bible, would consider themselves Jewish. Even the popes consider themselves Jewish at first, some of the first popes. And I believe that is it's a geographical term that came from a term that was a genealogical term. And so at different times it was very specific to the people that descended from that group, and then and later it became a territory, and that's how the Greeks and the Romans interacted with it. And so the Bible takes the older works that were inherited into this belief system, that are the foundation of that belief system that is now popular around the world, and they call it the Old Testament. And then I shouldn't say that. I consider myself part of that group. So it's, but however, I was told that people don't like the term the Old Testament because it seems to invalidate that information. So I was told by a teacher that who taught me Yiddish, that while I was studying German, that people prefer to call it the Hebrew Bible. And so I've called it that too as well. And then there's the New Testament. And the New Testament is comprised of the 4 Gospels, which are the main chunk, and then many letters and different other documents. And then lastly, the book of Revelation stands out among the books. That's the book that a lot of people get fascinated with. It talks about the end of the world. It talks about, the Antichrist and the false prophet. And so it attracts a lot of attention to readers and stories. And so, and then there's the Qur'an. And the Qur'an is, it is many hundred and more chapters or surahs, and similar to the way the Torah was before it was written. It is recited. So it is not only just a book, but it's primarily a recitation. That's what the word Qur'an means. And it comes in a book form. The word Bible means a book, so the Bible was written in book form, and the Torah traditionally is in scroll. So the Bible, the format of the Bible is a little bit different than the Torah because it was written page by page, and so that shapes the structure of it. The Quran has a different structure to it because it's recited, and then it was written into a book. And so there's a special name for the book forms of the Torah and the Quran. For the Torah, it's the Chumash, and for the Quran, it's the Mus'haf. And then the Quran starts off with a very important surah or chapter, which is the Al-Fatiha, and this is sort of similar function to perhaps the Lord's Prayer in the Christian tradition. It's a very important prayer, and I've learned or heard that it's often said at funerals, and I believe that it has a structure in it that is important for studying the Quran, and it also teaches the language. That's what I believe is it. And so the order that the Quran was in, what I've read, was not the order that it was revealed in, and that the names for all the chapters were decided later. However, the source of the Quran was through a prophet, the Prophet Muhammad, and so it is a message that is important. That's pressure cooker, and so prophecy is an important message, and I think it should be respected. It adds important context to the rest of the information of all of the scriptures. I believe it's the nomadic perspective, and I do believe that there's wisdom and truth in it, as well as all the other books. Peace.